can't believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling through, and all the roads we drive, all the states we see. We've been volleyballed, oh, so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball.
Hey there, welcome to Volleyball'd. I'm Carlos,
And I'm Allison.
and we're the Medinas, and this is Chapter 5, and we've had some changes go on in this house. We have started booking tickets.
Yeah, the annual. All right, where can I use Sky Miles and where can I use gift cards and who's flying with whom and who's missing work all day, who's missing a half day, where are we driving, where are we flying? It's a lot.
I've gotten to the point now in my radio career where, and I'm fortunate, I have an owner who his daughter played club volleyball. And so he knows the whole lifestyle. He's joked around about, hey, Orange County Convention Center, huh? Like, so he gets it. And so when I've told him in past deals, hey, if you need me to sub in on a show, I'll take a comp day because I'm going to need extra days because of volleyball. And he's been very understanding about that. So I'm looking at the schedule going, how many extra shows do I need to work in order to be at as many volleyball tournaments as I can be?
Yeah, started to reach out to the grandparents too when we need help because we can't all travel to Minneapolis. So who's going to stay with one kid while one of us goes or are both of us going? It's, oh goodness, I need an assistant. I need a personal assistant.
It's something we all face. It's the big challenge is trying to get all of this stuff scheduled. And this will be the first time you were looking at it. So our 11-year-old is going to 3 qualifiers, and it's the first time in her club's history they've ever sent an 11-year-old's team to 3 qualifiers. So that just adds, again, it's exciting because qualifiers are great, but it just adds to the craziness of what you have to schedule.
Yeah. And there needs to be a better calendar app for this than what I'm currently working on because it's a lot. You can tell it was literally today I was working on it, so my brain is a scrambled mess right now.
Oh, I know. There's probably 2 or 3 times where I'd said something to you. In fact, we had some leftover pizza, and I go, hey, do you want some pizza? And then you didn't really say anything. And then out of nowhere, you're like, I'm hungry. And I go, well, we have pizza. You're like, we do have pizza. It's like, I just said that to you, but you were staring at the computer trying to figure this stuff out. In fact, one of the stories you just told me like 20 minutes ago, you told me like 20 minutes before while we were talking about trying to get all this stuff scheduled.
Leave me alone.
It's just how it goes. All right, well, our guest today is going to be one of those that you want to talk about a great volleyball story. It's Mackenzie Tishner and her family. They're the ones that started Big South. And she's going to go through the whole timeline. They met through volleyball, and her life has basically, through college and then now afterward, all revolves around volleyball.
Such a cool thing. Got a couple little ones at home too. And I joked around with Carlos after that I wouldn't be surprised if their names are like libero inside out based on the volume that volleyball plays in their lives, which I kind of envy, to be honest with you. It's pretty cool when you can have a love for something that you get to do every day.
All right, without further ado, let's get to Mackenzie Tishner. She is the head of social media, public relations, and marketing when it comes to Big South. Chances are you're either going to the tournament this upcoming spring or you've been to the tournament in the past. It's Mackenzie Tishner. She joins us right here on Volleyball'd. Mackenzie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
So far, so good. And I understand some congratulations are in order. You've got a newborn as well.
Yes. Yeah. We have a 4-month-old daughter, Ollie, and then a 2-year-old son, Carver.
So how are you sleeping?
We were sleeping great. And then the 4-month regression hit and we have not been sleeping for the past 4 weeks. So it's been an adjustment, but we're there. We're good.
I was going to say, we have 14 and 11-year-old daughters, and we still talk about, we went through a teething phase where I don't believe our 14-year-old, when she was that age, well, for like 4 months, every night. So like I said, if you get through the teething part, everything's always good.
Yeah. Our son was pretty easy. So this has been a change for us for sure, but but we're hanging in there.
So, Mackenzie, let's start from the beginning. You
Yeah.
obviously, your entire life, or career-wise anyway, is surrounds the volleyball community. Talk to us about like when you started with volleyball, your history with the sport, and kind of how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. So my parents actually met because of volleyball. They met at a beach volleyball tournament down here in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And so that was kind of the start of our whole, I'm going to say, family legacy. Was right there on that beach volleyball court. And after they got married, my dad coached high school volleyball down here at two different high schools, Tampa Prep being the first one, and then Berkeley Prep being the second. And they quickly after that started a volleyball club, Tampa Bay Juniors. And Tampa Bay Juniors was one of the first volleyball clubs that popped up in the Tampa Bay area. And because of that, it spread like wildfire. They were one of the largest, one of the most competitive, were one of the only ones to travel out of state. And so doing so, my parents started to see what these qualifiers were all about in these big tournaments and realized, there's a big market for this here in the Tampa Bay area. We don't have one of these at all. And it's also a really great opportunity for girls to have experience outside of just the people they're used to playing every single day. So Big South actually started in the Tampa Bay area at the Tampa Convention Center. And it was a small 15, maybe 20 court event, and it blew up. Each year it got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where we were finally outgrown of the Tampa Convention Center, and they had to next steps move to a different place, which led them to Atlanta. Because of that, being in our backyard, I grew up 10 minutes away from the Tampa Convention Center. I was in that gym every time they were running that event. My grandmas ran the t-shirt booth. My brother and I ran around in the back. When my dad was coaching high school, my brother and I were always in the gym, watching practices, playing in practice with the big girls. And when the time finally came that we were big enough, my parents started a small little kids club called Kids Power. It would meet in the summers just for like an hour or two. And it was basically a way to just expose young children to the game of volleyball. And that's really where Kyle and I got our start. And we started playing tens when I was 8 and he was 6. And it just kind of moved up from there. So really my hands had been on volleyball since I was 2, but really didn't start playing until I was about 8 years old. And just from there, it kind of just fell into place. It just, the joke was always, did your parents force you into this? And it was, no, they never forced us into anything, but it just was a way of life for us. And it's all we knew. So Kids Power took me to club. I played in Tampa Bay Juniors all my years of middle school and high school. And then I graduated, and my first year I went to the University of Maryland. And while I loved the seasons, I did not like the cold, and I did not last very long because of that. So after my first year at Maryland, completing that season, moved back to Florida with the idea of sitting out a year, just going to school and make sure I kept up my grades, and then trying to find a school the next season because it was so close to the beginning of the new season. And it just so happened Mary Wise at the University of Florida had a setter that went down with a really bad back injury, and they needed another setter. One of my dad's old players from club played there, and she had reached out to Mary had reached out to her asking if she knew of anyone, and she actually did. It was me. And I went for a visit and signed with the school the next day and moved into the dorms 2 days later. And I was on a team with girls I had never met before in practice. So it was all very fast, and it was a great experience. But my 3.5 years at Florida were some of the best years, and playing with Mary Wise were some of the best years. But I think starting out playing for my dad was pretty special too. So it was a good experience. And, going from being on that side of volleyball, being a player, practicing all of that, to then flipping and going to the backside of logistics and how to plan and how to schedule. It was a big change for me, but I am very grateful to be on this side of it now and still be able to be a part of volleyball. I don't know what else I would have done with my life if it wasn't volleyball. So it was a perfect microcosm, a perfect storm to get us to where we are.
Mackenzie Tishner is our guest. She is the head of social media, public relations, and marketing with Big South. And I love the family history. I love your story because it mimics the growth of not only what this whole sport has become, but obviously what Big South has become. Talk about that from the time you started and just seeing that explosion where it's now the fastest growing sport in America. I don't consider pickleball. I consider volleyball the fastest growing sport in America.
Hey, well, I do love some pickleball, but I agree with you. It is definitely volleyball. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we moved from Tampa to Atlanta because we ran out of space. And Jeremy Rubin, he was with the ACBB at the time, really did his job well and got us in there. And my parents fell in love with the city, and the city was very welcoming to us. And we have gone from being just a one hall event at the convention center to now to to then becoming all of the convention center, every building, every hall on one weekend, to now being on two separate weekends, and one of those weekends just being a single hall and the other weekend being the entire GWCC. So we have
We know, Mackenzie. Our daughters will be playing.
there you go. So you walked the miles and miles it takes to get from one hall to the other hall, but
Yes, and we'll be there both weekends with you. We'll stop by and say hi.
we can check our steps together. But yeah, it's been, we had over 200 courts the last 2 years. We will be there again this year, over 200 courts on a single weekend, which is huge. We're going to be close to 90,000 visitors in the city of Atlanta. So again, just big numbers. People, like you guys know, people love to travel for volleyball. It is a family sport. It's not like some of these other sports, I think, where you send your kids off and with the coach and you say, have a good weekend. Everybody comes. So it really is, we try to bring that family aspect into this event here at the size that it is. And it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch all these people come in and, these girls make memories like we did. And hopefully they're having good ones. And we're very grateful to the city of Atlanta for welcoming us in the way they did.
We live here in Atlanta, so we don't take for granted what the downtown area becomes that weekend, because
Oh gosh, yeah.
it's quite a lot. I believe we read that not only is Big South one of the biggest qualifiers for volleyball, but in the entire convention world for the city of Atlanta, it's like in the top 5, right?
Yes, we are. We are the 5th largest annual event in the city of Atlanta.
That's insane. Like, that is insane. I mean, we already have the most highly trafficked airport in the world, and now we're bringing people in for volleyball and basically shutting down roads for 2 weeks. So get ready, everyone. Wake up early.
Yes, wake up early. Yeah, but it's very special.
Well, let me ask you about this. As Mackenzie Tishner is our guest, she's the head of social media, public relations, and marketing. Considering what this event has now become, I had somebody. In fact, it was Mr. Rubin who described it to me. It's like we have a Final Four here every year. Is what it's turned into. The economic impact for Atlanta. How good has that become, and how challenging is it? Working in your field where I'm going to have to market this event, and it has to come across bigger and bigger and bigger nearly every year.
Yeah. I mean, the nice part in my position and in Jeremy's position, when it comes to marketing it has kind of gotten to the point where it markets itself. It did not start that way. We were having to do a lot of work on our end to get the word out about this event and convince people like, hey, this isn't just a volleyball tournament. And that's the way we like to describe this. This isn't just a volleyball tournament. We're not here just setting up courts for you to come in and play volleyball. We want to have an experience. This is a volleyball experience. So when you walk in, you're not just going to see volleyball courts. You're going to have an entire vendor row that you can walk down, where we work with local and out-of-state vendors that come into our event, that set up, that will sell things, to the athletes and the parents, whether it be clothes, bags, shoes, food, anything of that sort is all in there. We have special deals with sponsors. So our title sponsor is Nike. So they're in there. They have their own special booth. We have another really great sponsor that we've been working with, American Tall, which is specific to girls who are tall, who have a hard time finding clothes in the mall. We have an entire mall set up for them, essentially, that they can come through and they can shop jeans, leggings, t-shirts, all of that. So you're not just coming to play volleyball, you're coming for an entire experience. Along with that, we like to work with certain groups in the city of Atlanta. The one that has been our longest partner in the city has been the Georgia Aquarium. And I mean, you guys are so lucky you live there. You know, the Georgia Aquarium is talked about all over the nation. And these girls come in so excited to go to the aquarium. So the fact that they are willing to work with us year after year for this event has been wonderful. We get to push a lot of our attendees to them, and in turn, they help us out with, little giveaways and stuff like that, just to promote them, but also promote our event, again, separating us from just any old volleyball tournament. And that's really been our goal. And the city has done a wonderful job of supporting that. The Atlanta Hawks work with us, Atlanta United, and now we have started working with the Atlanta Vibe there in downtown Atlanta, which has been wonderful.
We waited in line last year to get some autographs from the Atlanta Vibe.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Good.
All right.
Yeah.
This might be the real reason we're having you on today.
Okay.
So looking as one of the moms who's in all of the Facebook groups,
Yes.
scouring for the second that the Georgia World Congress Center opens parking to the public. For the, we would love to hear from you, Mackenzie, some insider tips or scoop on the parking situation for Big South.
How does that work? Because we've seen it when the Atlanta United plays, and suddenly, because it's just a busy area, and so everyone's always in the volleyball community. How did you get parking? What do you do? Like, we don't have a magic wand here. It's just a matter of just trying to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish there was a special ticket to it, especially when we have other events going on in the city besides us. That's really when we run into the issue, because the campus, as you know, can only hold so many vehicles. But the best thing to do is we sign up for our newsletter. We have a newsletter on our website, and the moment that parking goes live, we send out a link where you can go in and purchase it. The building is always working with us to try to get more parking, especially in situations when the Atlanta United has a game at Mercedes-Benz. They're working with us to try and open up other lots that our attendees can park in. But yeah, it's not, I wish I had a better answer, but it's not a perfect science. It's just kind of a luck of the draw situation. Be on it fast. I will tell you, we like to open it up a month in advance. So 1 month from the date of starting play is when we'll open that parking up for everybody. And it's just straight through the GWCC website. So if you don't sign up for our newsletter and you don't get that direct link, you can just go straight to the GWCC parking website, and there will be a section there that you can put in your parking. But yeah, it is definitely, it's kind of like when registration opens up. It's everybody fends for themselves, and you just got to go and get it.
Okay, I got your note there. The Medinas will get special parking for the 2 weeks. Mackenzie Tishner is our guest. She's the head of social media and public relations and marketing. Just a few more minutes. Let's talk about that, because one of the pieces of information that we saw that was released through social media was the amount of teams that signed up in the first 5 minutes. It blew my mind that you had that many teams from the region around the country that made it a point. We got to be at Big South. And in our estimation, we've seen more and more teams from Texas and the other places that we hadn't seen in years past have been showing up.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, this year we had over 1,500 teams that signed up for both weekends in the first 5 minutes, which is wonderful for us. It is conglomerately. We typically see a lot of teams from the southern region just because that's where we're at. Florida, all the other surrounding regions from different states. But in the past couple of years, we have been getting some large numbers from the Arkansas, Texas, Colorado, Arizona, more of those Western states that have decided to come this way. This year, believe it or not, this year is actually down. And I don't like to use that word, but it is less than it was last year. Last year, we had over 1,700 teams that registered in the first 5 minutes. But that is just because we're on an Easter weekend this year. So typically on Easter weekends, we have a little flux, a little drop in numbers. But on non-Easter weekends, we have been seeing numbers that are just impossible to even imagine hosting. And that is actually why we started splitting into 2 weekends. That started last year when we had that massive influx of teams that registered, over 1,700. And it just has seemed that it's safer for us to stay that route and be on 2 separate weekends. That way we can host all these teams, because we were having to turn so many teams away, and we hate doing that. So splitting into 2 weekends allows us to bring more of these teams in, bring more of these people into the city of Atlanta, and share our love for the city with them. And it's been really great to see all these different clubs from different states come and experience our event.
Okay, as we're wrapping up here, Mackenzie, I have to ask the obvious question. Our podcast is geared toward volleyball parents, and we're a crazy bunch. I've got to hear from you a story of a crazy parent moment at the tournament that like just blew you away that not a lot of people know about. Let us know.
Or what your parents ever did either. I mean, everyone has a parent story.
You know what? My parents were my coaches. So that was a whole different experience for me. I never had the parent just on the sideline situation. I had the parent on the bench that was pulling me off to the side saying, "What are you doing? Let's go." So, yeah, I mean, we have some pretty rowdy parents, but I enjoy it. I enjoy our parents. Sometimes, people can get a little crazy, but it's just because they love the sport and they love their kids so much. But I got to say, we have this one group of dads every year that come and they dress in these just outrageously bright neon shirts with their daughters' faces all over it, and like a Mod Podge of their girls' faces. And they blare music, and they're just the rowdiest bunch, and they cheer louder than you could be anywhere in the GWCC, and you're going to hear these guys cheer. And they are definitely my favorite group of dads. For sure. When we see them walk in, I always send my camera guy over there. I'm like, hey, we need some footage. If we need good cheering, good parent celebrations, anything like that, we find their court immediately because those dads never disappoint. But yeah, I mean, we've had parents that, wheel in an entire boombox system for their girls to warm up with, which unfortunately USA Volleyball doesn't always allow. So sometimes we have to stop that, but they're just the best crew of parents, in my opinion, are the volleyball parents that cheer for their kids. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
We may have ended up making friends with the ball dads, I think out of maybe Wisconsin or somewhere else like that, where they did the full dress up for everything at USAV. And it was always the matching outfits and the whistles and the short 80s coaches shorts. So, again, when parents get behind teams like that, I think it's incredibly awesome. Mackenzie Tishner is our guest, head of social media, public relations, and marketing. Let's give you the final word. What would you like to tell all the volleyball parents out there? As my wife and I have been joking, it's now 29 states and I think 8 countries that have been downloading this podcast. So it's been kind of crazy how this thing has grown.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. What do I want to tell them? I think the best thing you can do is just be supportive of your kids. You have done a great job picking out coaches for them. They are playing a wonderful sport. Sit back, relax, and watch them do what they're really good at doing, your girls, and just be as supportive as you can, because at the end of the day, that's what they need. And that's my favorite. Honestly, my favorite experience is truthfully watching when a team loses and the girls walk off the court and you just see those parents that just bring them in for a hug and just say, hey, you played great. You did everything you could do. And I'm so proud of you. And that as an event coordinator, event director, seeing those parents is really special. So if you can just be those parents for your girls, they're going to have a wonderful season.
That's awesome. Mackenzie Tishner, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you guys for having me on.
I love that story. I just love that family is so involved in something that has grown. And as we were talking about it during the interview, it has now become economically a Final Four in town every single year, between all of the parents that travel and all the economics that it has on the city and the downtown area. To think that it was a small tournament with 15 courts, and now, as she talked about, 200 courts is what they're looking at. And all the convention halls.
I mean, even those of us who live in Atlanta spend a ton of money in the city of Atlanta that weekend, plus all the people coming in from out of town. It's absolutely incredible. And if you haven't been, and this is your first year going to Big South, just heed my warning now. Leave an hour earlier than you were planning to leave if you're driving into the city that day. If you're walking from your hotel to the convention center, leave 30 minutes earlier than you were planning to leave, because everything takes a bit longer because it is that big of an event.
The amount of times in the recent years, and now this will be for us, we went there for the first time when my youngest was, I think she was 10 years old, because I don't believe we had it when she was 9, as far as, that was the COVID season and things got canceled. But so the first time we were there, to see the amount of parents that had to sprint their kid into the facility or drop them off and send them in by themselves to find a parent because there was no parking and there was no way to get close. I think one year, if I remember correctly, I dropped you off at like the rail yard area so that y'all could hustle in, and then I had to go find parking like another mile away.
We're also on, I believe, a 3-year streak now where we've had a torrential downpour right at drop-off time.
Yes.
So you literally walk around with wet shoes the rest of the day. So there's that. You might want to bring extra shoes.
It's very uncomfortable when that happens. And then you just see the look on some of the parents' faces. The one story that we didn't get into with Mackenzie when we started talking about some of the crazy parent stories. So we were, if you were on the email, and this would have been now 3 years ago, if you were on the club email that said, parents, stop taking alcohol into the facility, we were that team and we were those parents that drew the red card on that one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not getting grouped into this we. I was safely at the court with my child. Thank you very much.
You were at the court. Me and some of the dads and one of the moms were part of the group that brought back some supplies. And by the time that we left, and as loud as we were, it was, parents, please don't bring alcohol from the bar over into the facility. All right, take it out.
It's my vitamin water.
Today is gonna be the day that we run out of cash. Watching every serve and kill, it's a total smash. By now you should have somehow realized what we've lost. Our free time's gone, it's all for volleyball at any cost. I can't believe that anybody feels the way we do about our girls and all those courts we're traveling to. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see. We've been volleyball so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Backbeat, the word is on the street that we're broke again. Entrance fees for tournaments our girls already in. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but we're at the bar, drinking through the overwhelm. No life beyond this far. Don't believe that anybody feels the way we do about the nets and all the chaos we're stuck into. And all the roads we drive, all the stakes you see. We've been volleyball so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. And all the lights that lead us there are blinding. The hotel nights, the drinks they keep us finding a way to cope with all this endless grind. Oh, we're trapped, no life outside. And all the roads we drive, all the states we see. We've been volleyball so desperately. I said maybe we're gonna be the ones to cheer them on. We're lost in this volleyball. Today was gonna be the day, but we're still here. Volleyball, oh volleyball. I don't believe that anybody feels the way we do. We're lost in this volleyball. Cheer on me, cheer on me.
Running free